Despite my fairly critical thoughts on Mario Kart Wii as a game, which I did a full review on a while back by the way, links in the description, it is a game that I do like a lot, and arguably its strongest asset is the selection of tracks. Honestly, I think it might be one of the best in the series, so we'll be ranking all of them. And just like the last countdown, we'll be rating each one out of 5, so at the end, we can do a bunch of maths. But let's jump right in with what I believe to be the least interesting track, Yoshi Falls. Is this an unpopular opinion? I don't know. To both Yoshi Falls and Mario Kart Wii's credit, despite the fact that I like this one the least, I don't even think it's that bad. It's just not particularly interesting, not even for an early track. Extremely gentle turns, so gentle it's hard to find any point where you can drift, no shortcuts to speak of, and probably the only slightly interesting thing about this course is that there are items that will flow down the water, which you can completely ignore, mind you, by just going on the bridge. Shy Guy Beach. I'm usually a huge advocate for beach maps, but this might be one of the weakest in the series. I don't want to be too hard on it since it's just a GBA track, but there was a better beach map in the Game Boy Mario Kart I think would have worked much better. In fact, they actually translated that map into 3D pretty well in Mario Kart Tour. Yet another cool addition stuck to a gacha game version of Mario Kart. Ghost Valley 2, onto the 2-star maps. Yeah, the track selection in Wii is so strong, there's only 2 maps I thought were deserving of 1 star. Speaking of 1 star though, I've seen a lot of people regard Ghost Valley 2 as the worst in Wii, which really surprised me because while I don't think it's a great map, I like it okay. The sharp 90-degree turns are fun to take, I like the shortcut jump towards the start of the map, and I've always liked how the blocks on the borders of the track will fall off when you bump into them, essentially making for a course that dynamically becomes more difficult over time. Desert Hills. I've never been a huge fan of the desert maps. Don't know anyone who is, to be honest. It's a pretty strange pick for a DS track, and its only saving grace is the multiple shortcuts you can take using mushrooms. Grumble Volcano. There's a weird dichotomy to Grumble Volcano because it has a lot of cool features. Parts of the map sinking into lava as the race progresses is something I always liked in particular. The 2 big things that detract from the map, for me at least, is the setting itself, and those fireballs that fall from the sky towards the end of the map. I don't have any footage of it on hand, but I've 100% had games where I've been completely blindsided by a fireball I couldn't even react to. And at that point, telling someone to get good makes just as much sense as saying that when they get hit by lightning. What are you telling people to get good at? Luck? Mario Circuit. Alright, you ready for these? It's no secret that I've never been a huge fan of the circuit tracks. They're not terrible or anything, but very rarely are they interesting. And for whatever reason, Wii has 6 of these. Not quite as bad as DS, which had 7, but seriously, why do you need so many? Of the 6, Wii's Mario Circuit is probably my least favorite. A large portion of the track is just driving straight, and that, alongside the very brief but numerous semi-sharp turns that define the track, put karts at too much of a disadvantage. I mean, more than they already are. Luigi Circuit. As far as first tracks go, Mario Kart Wii's Luigi Circuit isn't bad. It's pretty iconic, and the pacing always seems to be good. Plus, I do like the off-track ramp in the last turn. Mario Raceway. I like this one more than the last 2 because the consistency of turns works well for both bikes and karts. Oh, but 1 turn actually. There's a hairpin turn right here I swear was specifically designed for bikes, despite this being a track from Mario Kart 64. Mario Circuit 3. There's a lot of really good turns here that make this a fun map for bikes specifically. I know the SNES maps get ragged on a lot, but despite it looking like ass, I think the overall layout here is solid. Sherbert Land. 3-star maps. I bet a lot of you are wondering why this is ranked so high, and it's definitely a very low 3-star, but I couldn't help it. I've always had a soft spot for this map. Drifting through the ice cave is cool, pun not intended. I like how the penguins are used as dynamic hazards, and in both 64 and Wii, I think it's really fun to bunny hop the cracks in the ice. Beach Beach. You know, I just realized, Mario Kart Wii does not have very good beach maps. There are no new ones, and the 2 they picked are underwhelming. Although I'm still giving this one a 3 because I'm a sucker for those beaches. And I like the shortcut you can only take on lap 2 without a mushroom due to the rising water level. Moo Moo Meadows. My buddy Matt deadass thinks this is the best track in the entire game. What the f is up with that? As for me, I like it okay. I like how the cow herds will move around and then stop at different positions depending on the lap. And as far as beginner tracks go, this is fine. Although I think it was remade better in Mario Kart 8. Wario's Gold Mine. Here's another map I think is better in 8. I like the setting and how winding the minecart tracks are. That bit at the end where you're dodging the carts and can go off that one track for a shortcut, that's really cool as well. My biggest gripe with this one is that the map is little else than just a minecart tracks. It feels too similar to a lot of circuit tracks in that there aren't many shortcuts, and you are strictly following the single, consistently sized path for most of the race. And for that to be the case, I don't think any of the turns here are fun enough without the map's theming. GameCube Mario Circuit. Speaking of circuits with good turns, GameCube Mario Circuit is a circuit with good turns. The bumps and bridge at the end also make good use of Wii's new really implemented trick system. Bowser Castle 3. For a GBA track, there's a lot of jumps, lots of hazards, and some really insane super shortcuts if you got the skills to pull them off. I do not, so here's someone else doing it. There's a lot of sharp 90-degree turns, and much like how it's fun to jump the cracks in Sherbert Land, it's likewise fun to jump the gaps in the chain floors. DK's Jungle Parkway. Anyone else think this track is more fun on the 64? Just me? Okay. This map has a really interesting layout. The last turn in the cave being a prime example because you can boost up the wall if you got enough speed. I also like how skinny the bridge at the end is. When you're playing this map with other people, you basically need an item on that bridge to ensure your safety because it is so easy to get hit in such a tight space. Moonview Highway. From what I can gather, this seems to be a pretty popular track, and while I generally like the tracks where you're dodging traffic, I think the layout on this one is too inconsistent. The first half is cool, tons of winding turns, and only 2 lanes make it difficult to dodge traffic. But then you cross this bridge and get into the city. It definitely looks cool, but it's too open and it feels like you went from a Special Cup track, which it should feel like, to a Mushroom Cup track within seconds. I mean, that silhouette says it all. Whoa, look at all those tight winding turns. And now drive straight in this big open space, only making 2 soft turns. If it wasn't for the fact that the drivers in Mario Kart Wii feel oddly aggressive, like almost unfairly so, this would probably be one of the simplest tracks in the game. Dry Ruins. This is probably the highest you will ever see me rank a desert map. But honestly, Dry Ruins deserves it. A lot of it being, since it is a Special Cup track, they can make it more difficult than most of the other desert maps. Plus, the Ruins portion of the track is really cool, and makes it questionable why they haven't just made a pyramid track yet. Come on, just base it off that level in Mario 64 or something. It'd be great. Mushroom Gorge. Time for the 4-star maps. Pretty impressive, we still have 14 tracks to go, and they're all this good. This is a hillside map with tons of mushrooms you can bounce off of, so that way you can cross over giant chasms. A fantastic idea. Although I always thought the mushrooms were maybe a little too restrictive. I mean, once you hit a mushroom, it's just like, alright, gonna be hopping straight for a while now. I think it'd be cooler if you had a little bit more control, allowing itself for more diverse layouts. But that's pretty nitpicky, all things considered. This is a very solid map, especially for Mushroom Cup. Daisy Circuit. Probably didn't think you'd see a circuit track ranked this high, eh? Daisy Circuit really is one of the best we've seen though. Lots of turns, that dumbass stair shortcut that actually kind of sucks ass, but really it's the overall presentation that makes this course as good as it is. Taking place during sunset is a nice touch, and there is so much detail here it hardly even feels like a circuit map. Waluigi Stadium. This is a pretty smart pick given Mario Kart Wii's new trick system. All the jumps and bumps lend themselves well to pulling off mid-air stunts. It's a good track, and I like how that one stretch with the fireballs has been updated to a half pipe in this version. DK Mountain. Did you ever realize that Mario Kart Wii has 3 whole tracks where you start the race by being shot out of a barrel cannon? What's up with that? DK Mountain has a lot going for it. The trek down the mountain feels both fast and scenic, and those falling rocks keep the track interesting. Peach Gardens. For how simple Peach Gardens is, it's pretty impressive just how many people consider it one of their favorites. I mean, hey, I am one of those people. I think a lot of it is just how many branching paths are in this single course. Nearly every section of the track has multiple routes, and then numerous flower gardens make for great shortcuts when you're falling behind. Bowser Castle. Time for the best of the best, the 5-star tracks. While Mario Kart Wii's rendition of Bowser Castle might not be my favorite layout, I mean, there are a few sections and turns I don't care for. Credit where credit is due. There's a lot of just stuff in this map, making for a track where every portion feels entirely its own. Wobbly halls, giant Bowser heads shooting fire rocks down the halfpipe, thwomps to dodge, and spontaneous fire geysers from the ground. I can be a pretty critical guy, but this is a 5-star for sure. DK Summit. DK Summit is literally just someone looking at DK Mountain and going, you know, this is great and all, but what if it was a ski resort? Bam! DK Summit. On top of the fantastic music and visuals, there's a lot to this map despite the pretty straightforward layout. There's tons of heavy snow to boost through, skipping portions of the track by jumping chasms, and I really like that halfpipe where you're dodging the snowboarding Shy Guys. Definitely a worthy successor to DK Mountain. N64 Bowser Castle. I don't care if this is controversial or not. I've always thought the Bowser Castle for Mario Kart 64 was one of the best in the series, and it was translated to Wii very well. I know it doesn't have the bells and whistles of the Wii's new Bowser Castle, but I do think the challenge seems more fair here. And thanks to the item balancing in Wii, the chaos in this Bowser Castle is more manageable and puts a heavier emphasis on the racing itself, which I like a lot. Toad's Factory. It's pretty rare when a Mushroom Cup track is this good, but they nailed it with Toad's Factory. Because I mean, let's be fair here. Balancing engaging track design with easy track design is quite the undertaking. Toad's Factory is great because it just hits you with so many things in such a short period of time. Giant stamp presses, chunks of road being moved by cranes, conveyor belts carrying crates you need to dodge and items you need to grab, a large 270-degree turn you take super fast thanks to a rounded belt, and you finish the race by breaking out of the factory and boosting through mud to the finish. As far as beginner tracks are concerned, this is very well done. Delfino Square. If you're someone who bases a track's value by its gimmicks, then Delfino Square probably doesn't seem like much. But the reason it's become a fan favorite over the years is less about what's in it and more about how it's executed. This is a well-designed track with multiple shortcuts and a fun variety of turns. And racing through those tight alleyways creates a great sense of speed. Honestly, this might be the best track in DS. So it's great to see it here. Coconut Mall. Oh god, Coconut Mall. What do I even say about this one? What an abnormal setting for a racetrack. A shopping mall is probably one of the last things I think about when it comes to Mario or racing. But as many of you probably know, Nintendo translated an indoor mall to a racetrack so well, it's now one of Mario Kart's most iconic tracks. You drive up escalators that change direction, take shortcuts through corner stores, pull tricks off fountains, and dodge Mii's in the parking lot. It's a ridiculous track, but it's one of the series' most iconic for a reason. It's great. Maple Tree Way. This one is definitely less discussed, but I've always really enjoyed this one. It's rare when you see Nintendo mix an extremely calming atmosphere with genuinely tricky stage design, but it's executed very well here, and it's what defines Maple Tree Way for me. There's some surprisingly hard turns here, and there's tons of opportunities to pull off tricks, from the waving net bridge, from the more obscure tree routes right before the finish line. This honestly might be the most gorgeous setting to a Mario Kart track, and I would love to see this remastered in Mario Kart 8's HD art style. Koopa Cape. When the Wi-Fi was still up, I swear people picked this goddamn map like every other race. I was sick of it. But I can't deny, there was a reason. This is a really good track. A lot of the track has you racing alongside the water current, which feels great because it aids the pacing well. Weirdly enough, Koopa Cape might have the best overall sense of speed in all of MK Wii for that reason. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that you plummet down a pipe where you then drive underwater like a cool-ass aquarium. Hazards to dodge, multiple paths, shortcuts to take. There's a lot to Koopa Cape, and it's easy to see why it's a favorite of so many. In fact, I might even call it the best track in Wii if it wasn't for Rainbow Road. When I think of a well-designed Mario Kart course, the Wii's version of Rainbow Road is almost immediately what my mind goes to. It's tracks like this that make me wish the bikes weren't just so much better than the karts in Mario Kart Wii, because the Wii's Rainbow Road is a dream to take long drifts through. There's a consistent flow to this track that doesn't quite work with the objectively better inside drifting bikes. I also like how they didn't hold any punches with this one. Not only is this the most difficult Rainbow Road, this might be the most difficult Mario Kart track, period. Especially these set of hairpin turns right here. I bet you more people have fallen off these two turns than all the other chasms in Mario Kart Wii combined. I love this one. Just a masterpiece of track design. I don't know what else to say about Rainbow Road except, JK, this map sucks. Moo Moo Meadows is actually the best track in Wii. From the lush green fields to the... Wait a second. Matt, will you stop touching the damn script? Alright, here's all the tracks, here's all the scores, and here's the averages for each cup. Star and Special are both tied for the highest average, aka the best cups in the game. And Shell Cup has the lowest average, which I mean, just look at it. That's not a particularly strong lineup. Then for some more fun, here are the averages overall for Modern and Retro. Modern sitting just shy of a 4 at 3.8, and Retro sitting shy of a 3 at 2.9. That might seem low, but to be honest, that average is probably twice as high as a Retro selection in DS if I were to do the math ranking all of those. So Mario Kart Wii did well, all things considered. But there's the rankings. Next time, we'll be looking at why Moo Moo Meadows is a pinnacle of game design, and anyone who thinks otherwise is a... Matt, would you stop? Hey, thanks for watching! I currently have a poll on my Patreon where you can vote for my next video, so if you're a patron, please check that out. And I'd like to give a shout out to some of my patrons such as GamePlayer1500, Abby Knutson, Amanda Guth, Cashinator, David Pacheco, Drew Kellenberger, Jeffrey P. Long, John Hancock, Kinzel TN, Michael Moose, Naomi Norbez, Pretoria Mars, and Rami Better. And until next time, have a good one.